Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Happy September 22nd. Yes, can you imagine? It is September 22nd, 2020. As I've been saying, the year that was and wasn't. So hopefully you will, this will be a little capsule, a little time capsule for you folks. You can go back and look and say, what were they doing during 2020 there in New York? We were doing many, many things. So I want to start the show tonight with a little, sometimes I start with a song, and my guest tonight is Mr. Will T.N. Hall. He is my favorite Brit of all time. So he and I wrote a song about 3 years ago. It was right around 3 years ago, around this time, that maybe 3 years ago. And we wrote the song, and it's just, I finally went into the studio and finished it. Will's part was done. I just had to do my part. And then Lynn Portis came in and did the actual, she did a few, she added some horns and some strings and things like that. But Will is playing the piano on it. It's gorgeous. Will and I wrote it together. And I hope you like it. I'm going to play it for you to start the show. Also, remember, this is a radio show, so we'd like our radio listeners to listen to this. It's called This Is My America. And please enjoy it. And then I'll bring Will on after that. You may look and feel powerless, think there's nothing you can do, but it's not true. It's not true. You may face a wall in front of you and think there's no way through, but it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Okay, that's our song. Thank you for listening, folks. I wanted to start with that. Thank you for indulging me. That song was written by my next guest and myself, and I would like to bring him on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Will T.N. Hall.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, here he is.
It's happening.
And he is here, as are the dogs. Both my dogs are here because Judy is away. So the dogs are beside themselves that they have, that Will is here with us.
We've been cuddling.
You can come closer if you like. Now, we just want to let you know that we have been very, very, very safe, and neither one of us has really been anywhere that's... So actually, you are only the second person that's been in our studio.
Right.
Mario Cantone last week, and you, and the dogs, of course. So all that good stuff that's been happening. So now, let me back up so I don't overwhelm the microphones. So you and I wrote that song a couple of years ago, and I gotta say, I always tell the story. I went to Will's apartment, which is right up the street, and I was so angry, and I had all these angry lyrics written, and you were very kind. You looked at them and you said, we can do that, or we can write a song of hope. So I want to thank you for that, because you took my Italian rage, kind of neutralized it, and musically, I just thank you what you did.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. It was such a fun song to write together, and it was. I mean, I was as angry as you, trust, but
I know.
I definitely felt like I needed to be hopeful myself. So I think it was a nice relationship that we had to kind of give each other hope through writing that song.
Yeah.
The power of songwriting. Powerful.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of therapy.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of therapy, have you found that during this time where we're kind of like not, well, you were in Britain for a while, right? Did you,
Yeah.
as soon as the lockdown happened, did you go home?
Basically, so yeah, I spent I think 2 weeks in New York at home, and then I managed to get pretty much the last flight out.
Wow.
Back to London, that hadn't been cancelled, and spent 3.5 months of the lockdown for both countries in the UK.
Wow. Yeah, because I was following you on Facebook. I was actually happy for you.
I mean, it felt like the right thing to do. There was a lot of guilt, and we've talked a lot about this in the press as well, with people leaving New York and people who stayed in New York. How I had a lot of guilt about not being there in the city that I've been in for the last 15 years. So
well,
but the thing is that obviously my family is all there, still in the UK, and my boyfriend's in the UK. And so it just felt like it was.
He's very
better.
cute, by the way.
Thanks. Yes, he's
Shout out to
very
Oliver
cute.
in the UK.
Hi, Willie. Yeah, so it felt like the right thing to do to be. My parents are older, and it's the right thing to do. I wanted to be nearby.
Right.
But I really felt so much watching the news from New York.
I was going to say, so what was that like watching it? And what did you watch, the BBC? Is that what you?
Yeah, I mean, whatever
which is
was
the
on,
best
really.
station, if you ask me. Folks, let me tell you, if you've never heard of, I mean, most of you have, but the BBC is like world news, and it comes out of Britain, right?
Yep.
And
love it.
you will get the world news, and from the most objective place you possibly can. It's just, you want world news, you're going to go and watch BBC. So you were watching, and what did it feel like to be across the ocean, know that you have an apartment here,
right,
and your friends are here,
right,
and your music is here?
Yeah, everything, work, whole life. Yes, it was really hard, and it was, I'm so, obviously I was keeping in touch with everybody via text and Facebook and all that kind of stuff daily, but just to see the footage, see in the West Village, places I work and where I've hung out, and Midtown and everything, places I know very well, be completely deadly silent, and then to see all these kind of just horrifying things. It was very, very, very hard to watch.
Yeah.
So I was really happy to come back, actually, in that respect, because I wanted to get home, and I was really impressed with the way that, proud of the way that my city was getting itself back on its feet, and fighting this terrible pandemic, and showing the world that New York is very capable of coming back from taking it really hard in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you said my city.
Yeah.
Because you obviously have an accent, so you're from somewhere else. You are an immigrant, actually.
I am absolutely an immigrant, full-blown immigrant.
Yeah, as were my parents, and as is Judy, as my girlfriend. And most people in New York actually are from somewhere else, or their parents are from someone else. And if you just live in America, your parents or their parents are from someone else. So this is a melting pot. And one of the reasons that I wanted to write this song, that I'm glad I wrote this song, and Will and I collaborated on this particular "This Is My America," is because it is a song about immigration and the beauty of all that. So finally, I went into the studio and recorded, and Lynn Portis put down as I said, the strings and the horns. But we are going to do something with it. So soon, I think Chris DePiero is going to. We're going to go to Liberty State Park and film the Statue of Liberty and get a lot of different shots. Your friend may do something with us. Now, let's talk about your show. Now, Cindy's going to call in soon, so we might be interrupted and then go back. We'll go back and forth. But so you do a show on Friday nights.
That's correct.
Okay.
On the Facebook Live, just like this. And
it's great.
Thanks, Maria.
I love your show.
You must have seen a lot of it before. We've worked together for a long time, so you're probably like, oh, he's doing this one.
No,
again.
I love it. It doesn't matter. It's some of the... Look, I do some of the songs that I did. It doesn't... People like to hear what they like to hear.
There's some classics for a reason.
And you take requests.
I absolutely take requests. It's all by request, so it's Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, which I think is 4 p.m. on the West Coast. And you can request,
London is
kind of
6 hours ahead?
So that would be midnight.
Okay, so if it's midnight in London and you're up, which many Londoners will be, as they're entertainment people like we are, go to Will T. N. Hall's Facebook page, and his show will be running. And lots of times I will be watching it right there with you. And the requests are great, because if you want to hear something, you just you go to Venmo, right? Mm-hmm. And your Venmo is what?
The Venmo is William T. N. Hall, so it's all one word. Just
William T. N. Hall. Yeah. And you send your request there, so whatever you want to hear. And if he has it or knows it or can get to it, and you always do. Yeah. So it's great.
And if you can't make a donation, that's okay too. But it's great to get requests because it keeps me trucking along. But absolutely, if you can make a donation via Venmo, that's good too.
Well, it's absolutely, because we musicians are in a very strange place right now.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, it's not great at all. And we have faith that things will be back, but it's going to be a while. And our restaurants are opening up soon to 25% capacity, but that's not... Like, I just heard on the news today that in order for a restaurant or bar to break even, they have to be at 80%. To break even.
Yeah.
The other 20% is where you make your profit. So if they're doing 25%, they're, everybody's just... so it's hard for them to hire extra people and entertainment and all that. And so we're kind of that last, they're just trying to stay open. So we thank all the places that are doing that. And then November 1st, great news, the restaurants and bars can open at 50% capacity, and I think they're going to add as they go. And see, because New York is doing great, and it's because we've been super careful, wearing our mask. Like tonight in the studio, of course, we just we took it off, but we have seen each other since, and we've all been super careful and been tested and all that stuff that needs to be. So that's the important thing. Even today, I took a video in our neighborhood. And everyone was wearing masks. Like, people always say, really? Everybody wears masks in New York? Yeah. It's really strange if you see someone without a mask. Maybe they're working out, they're running. Like, I can see that. But everybody's been super respectful because we want to go back to work. And that's the point of it. But we want to thank people that have watched us do live things and contributed in the way that you can with Venmo, Cash App, or whatever, sending us little requests, and people have been super sweet. So let's check on and see what some of our friends are saying, shall we? Because you have a ton of fans here. First of all, Leo, thank you. Leo Rodriguez!
We love Leo.
We love Leo. How can you not love Leo? Look at his little emoji. That's adorable.
That is perfect.
And then he put the American flag when we were playing the song. Mandar Chick Magnet is here. I saw Mandar this week. Went and dropped off some delicious Italian stuff. He was in Jersey City. We had a nice iced tea together. That was really fun. My cousin Rena Crudeli-Berge from Massachusetts is here. Jay Rivera. We love Jay Rivera.
Love Jay.
Beautiful, beautiful.
He sings, a handsome, wonderful singer.
He's in shape. He's a physical,
he's handsome, man.
a personal trainer. So many
Yeah.
handsome men. Ed Kutu, you don't know my friend Ed, but you would love him. He's a hairdresser. He's in Connecticut.
Hi, Ed.
At Blade Salon in Rocky Hill. We love Ed. Mark Schultz.
It's
Hello,
Mark
Mark
Schultz.
Schultz.
Oh, Mark Schultz.
We love Mark Schultz. How are you, honey? Bill Goffey, Trouble on a
Bill
Stick.
Goffey.
He's back. He's back in action now. I talked to him today. He's finally sprung back to action.
That's great.
Had a little surgery, but he's back to driving everybody crazy. Dominic Pupa. Oh, my God. Will there be nudity on this week's installment? Well, funny that you should say that. I don't think we're going to do it on the show. However,
We just talked about that.
we just talked about it, and well, we can't move the stuff because Rizzo is laying on it now, our merchandise. I have the two
Ow.
dogs. I have Rizzo. Let me see if I can show you. Rizzo is laying on the merchandise as we speak, and then London is on the couch, and she's out like a light, which is great because they were both very rambunctious and very excited about seeing Will, and he had to give them a lot of
There's
attention
a lot
tonight.
of, lot of cuddles.
A lot of cuddles. So Cindy Horn is going to be calling in 2 minutes. So Cindy, if you're out there and you can hear me, she's going to be calling in. If not, I will call her because she is going to help us do a little tribute to our best girl, RBG. We're very, very, very beside ourselves sad about this. So I thought, what better person than Cindy to call in? She's going to call in any minute. And if not, I'll call her. But so let's just keep checking on it. Mario Davila, who we adore,
The best.
from Brandy's,
Lovely,
which will
lovely
all
Mario.
be back. Will be back in the saddle
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
So we want to thank Brandy's for doing
And
that.
you can go to Brandy's now, and you can go and have a drink and sit outside.
As a matter of fact, that's right. They are open outside. They have cute, beautiful little seating, and I think Michael Isaacs is there tonight. Yes, he is.
That's right. Yeah.
So go and see Michael Isaacs, John Satram, and Erica. And I don't remember Erica's last name.
Lustig.
Thank you, but she is there tonight, I believe so.
Nice, good German word.
Yes, that's a very good German word. Friday Night's Rock, Sarah Stiles. Do you know Sarah Stiles?
I do know Sarah Stiles.
Who
yeah,
might
she's
she be?
lovely. Sarah's lovely. Sarah is a lovely friend who I think I met. I'm not sure if we met at the Duplex or we met at Don't Tell Mama, but I think it was the Duplex. And Sarah is, she's just a great friend through piano bar and performance. And then she comes to Brandy's and she requests and she follows me on my Friday night show. And she's just really lovely. And
Don't you love
very
people
kind.
like that?
Great music lover, yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah's
Thank you for
great.
supporting musicians and what we do. Greg Goodbro, our
Oh, my
love,
God.
the Chicken Man.
I talk about the Chicken Man.
Now he has roosters.
Talk about handsome. My goodness, they're
So
all
handsome.
here.
I was thinking about you yesterday, Greg, because on the news they said that 311 has gotten many complaints about roosters. Did you? It's like a new thing because people are home more, and so people are getting, animals and all that kind of things, and roosters are the rage.
Right.
So although he's been the Chicken Man forever, but I thought of you because I know he just adopted 3 little roosters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not complaining about him on 3.
No, he's way
No.
uptown. So Cindy
No.
Horn is calling in. Hi, Cindy. Hold on, honey. I put you on speakerphone. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Bring up your voice just like you have it, maybe a tiny bit more, because I got to get you on 2 microphones. So the first thing I want to tell you is thank you so much, Cindy, for calling in. I wanted to do a tribute to our girl RBG. I have my little bobblehead up here she's always on top of my sign back there with the gavel. And so I took.
Yes, I have that very same thing.
You do?
I do.
And I also want to tell you that for my show, usually I have a string of lights back there that are lit. I've never not had them lit, but tonight for RBG, I have dimmed the lights. So,
Just like Broadway.
yep, exactly. So my sweet friend Cindy, who is a lovely human being and a music supporter, she supported so many of us in these clubs, and I want to thank you for that, Cindy. And
I'm so happy. You guys are always great. I miss seeing you in the club.
I know we miss you too, honey. Now I needed you to call in tonight, because when we all got the news, everybody was so crushed, and you know, a lot of people that don't understand about her, or maybe haven't followed, and there are people, or maybe they're on a different side of things. You know, they may not understand what she means to us, but I thought that, well, first of all, tell everybody what you do, what your profession is.
Well, I'm a lawyer by trade. I've done several. I was a teacher at one time. Then I practiced law for several years, and recently I've worked for nonprofits using my law degree. So my connections with Justice Ginsburg is really primarily as an attorney and what she did for women like me who wanted to go to law school.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you said that you actually met her, right?
I did. I was very lucky to meet her. As most of you probably know, and perhaps some of you don't, as well as being an absolutely brilliant jurist and a wonderful human being, she was also really a patron of the opera. And in New York, in Cooperstown, New York, where incidentally the Baseball Hall of Fame is, there's also every summer is an opera festival, the Glimmerglass Festival, and I was lucky enough to attend, and she was part of the program the time that I attended, and I was at a reception and got to meet her. And her daughter is, interestingly, her daughter-in-law is an opera singer.
Wow.
And so she look, you know, you see her on stage and she looks so frail, and then all of a sudden she comes out and she just says the most brilliant things. Her mind, to the end, her mind was as sharp as a tack, even when her body had become really frail. So I was lucky enough to meet her through the opera. But
wow.
Really, the biggest impact she had on me, when she went to law school, she was one of 10 women in her class. And she got into law school because she was brilliant. She graduated at the top of her class. I went to law school many years later. I was not nearly as smart as she was, but because of the path that she had paved for women in the law, I was able to go to law school, and I don't remember exactly the statistics, but I'm sure that 35 to 40% of my law school class was women. And women were, you know, it was not a question about whether you could get into law school by the time I went, but that's because of the path that Justice Ginsburg had followed and had fought for many years before those of us who were in law school when I went to law school.
Wow, that's beautifully said, Cindy. Now, also, like, when you said she was one of 10 in that class, but how many were in that class at Harvard?
It was a huge law school class. I'm sure, I don't know the number, but I would suspect there were at least 200 people.
Right.
And you know, the head of the law school took those 10 women in her class to dinner that first week and said, how can you explain why you have taken the seat away from a man? I mean,
wow.
And when she graduated at the top of her class, she actually graduated from Columbia because she had to transfer because her husband, who was in law school at the same time that she was, got a job in New York. So she transferred from Harvard to Columbia and graduated at the top of her class, and she couldn't get a job.
Right. Isn't that crazy? But also, her husband fell ill with cancer, and she had a 2-year-old. It blows my mind. Not only did she study for herself, she also went to his classes, and got all the information. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, she was attending law school for herself in the daytime, getting all the notes from her. He was a year ahead of her, and he was at home suffering with cancer. So he wouldn't have graduated had she not been there to help him. And they had this 2-year-old child at the same time. You know, and what people don't know is how much she did for women's rights, for equality. And the first case that she brought on gender equality, she had been trying to make it legal for women to be treated equally and fairly as men, and the courts were even listening to her. So that first case that she brought and won, she represented a man
I
who
know.
was being treated equally under the law. He was trying to stay at home and care for his ailing mother.
Right.
And his op had said, well, no, that's women's work. If you were a woman, we'd let you stay at home. So the beginning of her fight for gender equality came by her representing a man who had been discriminated against because he was a man.
I know, it's amazing. In the movie, if you folks want to watch, I mean, you should definitely watch this movie. It's called On the Basis of Sex. And it's all about what Cindy is talking about right now. And also there's a great documentary. It's a CNN documentary. It's called The Notorious RBG. And they're running it a lot. But it's just mind-blowing in the way that she did that. And so that it's just, she's done so much more than anyone could ever imagine. But so many of the rights that we have today are because of her and her fight for things.
Of the fight that she started. And Justice Scalia was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum from her in the way the two of them interpreted the Constitution. So
Right.
they were somewhat, I guess, kind of rivals on the court because they always saw things differently, but they were such good friends.
Great friends.
They both had a love of opera. They both had a love of great food. They both had a love of wine, and they both had a huge respect for each other, even though they never agreed on their interpretation of the Constitution. But, for me as a lawyer, they really looked at the Constitution and they interpreted the Constitution and they could justify their rulings on the Constitution.
Right.
And so for me, as a lawyer, I had such respect for her because I believe that she really studied the Constitution, she studied precedent, and by the time she was on the Supreme Court, she really was able to substantiate all of her rulings based in the law and not based on something that she just believed personally. Her rulings were always completely grounded in the law.
Right. Amazing. As it should be. And I even yesterday, I flip around from between MSNBC and CNN and Fox. I watch them all because I like to get see what everyone is saying. And even on Fox, which tends to lean in a very different direction than I do, but they had Antoine Scalia's son was on, and I think they were trying to get him to say something, and he just would not budge, and I loved it. He was so in awe of her, and he said that his father loved her, and she loved him, and they were amazing friends, and he had nothing but respect for her, and I thought it was so amazing.
Well, that's the way she and Scalia felt about each other. When I heard about her passing, I thought, well, she and Anton Scalia are up in heaven and they're discussing the law and opera together tonight.
I love it.
That's just.
I love it. You're right. You're right. Well,
there will be another jurist quite like she was.
No, not for a long, long time. So, Cindy, you're in Texas now?
Actually, tonight I'm with a friend of mine in Oregon, so I'm on the West Coast.
Okay, well, honey, I miss you very much being in New York, but I'm really glad that you were able to go other places and do some things, and we'll all be back. But I miss you very much, and I miss your son. He's a great guy, Adam. So, tell your family we said hello.
And thanks so much for having me tonight.
You were the person for this. I said I have to pay tribute to RBG, and who could do it better than Cindy Horn?
Well, she was really one of my real heroes because I know the impact of what she did on my life personally. So thank you so much, Maria, for letting me to give my own personal tribute to Justice Ginsburg. It means an awful lot to me.
Well, it means a lot to me that you called in. Thank you, Cindy. I love you, and
Okay,
carry on the great work that you're doing, honey. We need you.
I'm going to, and everyone should vote in November.
You have to. We have to.
You should go to the polls and vote. However you find that it's safe for you to vote, everyone should vote.
Okay, absolutely, 100%. Thank you, honey bunny.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Cindy Horn, amazing, brilliant lawyer, and she really knows her stuff. So who better than Cindy, right, to call in? Yeah, wasn't it great? So once again, we love you, RBG. Thank you, Cindy, for telling us the story. And yes, the lights is the first time the lights have been dimmed in my studio. Okay, so let's check with our people, and then I want to talk about your Christmas album, because Christmas, believe it or not, is 3 months away.
It's coming.
What the hell? I still feel like we're in March, or because everything's okay. So let me see if we've missed anything. So thanks again to Cindy Horn. Just amazing that she called in. Wasn't that give me chills that she met her, right?
She's perfect. Yeah, I
and
love
the
that
story,
and I love that she was an opera lover. You know,
she really. Oh, look who's here, Kathy Roy Spees. She is the director of education at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey. She's my boss. She is amazing. She is amazing. Hi, Maria. I'm still full from your delicious sauce. I'm so happy I went out and dropped off some sauce in Jersey.
I mean, everybody is just loving it.
You've had this, so you're buying some bouillabaisse tonight.
I'm buying some more today. Yeah, exactly. I can't stop.
Oh, and Brian Johnson, my friend in Massachusetts, he loves London because his daughter raises King Charles Cavaliers. Yeah, isn't that cute? They're really cute.
They are cuties. They're lovely dogs.
So we have Mario Davila, our beautiful friend Mario. Kenny Holcomb.
Oh,
we love Kenny.
Another beautiful man, beautiful voice.
Gorgeous voice, gorgeous. And Kenny, congratulations. Today was a big day for Kenny. He had some dialysis issues, and now he is off dialysis. Kenny, I could not be happier for you. So we've been rooting for Kenny all the way. Derek Bridgewater, we love him.
Derek, yep.
We know Jennifer Pace.
Oh, Jay Pace.
The Jennifer
in the
Pace.
House. I'm being surprised that she isn't streaming right now herself.
I know.
She's on fire at the moment.
She is always on fire. And she's also her boyfriend, Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, that's right.
She's always posting.
How is she finding the time?
I know. Honestly. Well, that's what it is. And now I think that she has a new neighbor.
She does. She has a very, very talented,
Mr. Bucheri.
And I mean, think of what we're going to see in the months and years to come
on that terrace.
On that terrace.
My friend Stephanie Block Egan. I had Maria's bolognese last night. Oh my God, Stephanie!
It is. It's a sensation.
It really is. And Stephanie was one of my students at Mayo, but now she is also. I have a women's writers group that I started during the pandemic because I personally was losing my mind. And I thought I have to do something. And so I invited all these women that I love in my life that are writers and that I needed to be in this group. So we meet on Zoom and we've been writing amazing stuff. And Stephanie's incredibly talented. So Cindy Horn, thank you, Leo. Leo Rodriguez has posted Cindy Horn's info. Thank you. Cindy was amazing. Wasn't she amazing?
Cindy, but yeah,
you gave me chills,
again,
Cindy. You really
perfect.
did. Okay, so Mandar, let me see. I think we've got, I just don't want to leave anyone out. Okay, so, and Gene Simpson, I know, Gene Simpson she's in Indiana or Illinois or somewhere Illinois on the crest, the cusp of Indiana. So anyway, I know Gene from Massachusetts, so we grew up together. So when you come by this way, I'll make you some sauce. Okay, now let's talk about this Christmas album.
Okay.
What's it called?
Okay, well, it's called Beacon. Holiday album. Beacon is in
light.
Yes, and this is the first time I'm talking about it. So
is it okay to talk about it?
Yeah. This is.
I'm excited.
This is breaking news, I guess.
It's totally breaking news.
This is my coming out party.
Wait, ding 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 ding! Breaking news, everybody! Tonight on the What's the Story with Maria, Will Tian Hall announces his new Christmas album.
I mean, I couldn't be happier to be talking about it on your show, but yeah. So I felt that it was. As you just said, really, with your writers group and everything, and you have been so creative, like Jennifer as well, by putting your music and your art out there because we have had a lot of time on our hands.
More than we've ever had.
More than we've ever had. And also, you know, we're not used to kind of staying still and being quiet and being still. It's quite hard for a lot of artists to do that, to be forced to do that for long periods of time. So I thought that once things were easier to go about in New York, easier to get places and, you know, start to be slightly normal, I would try and do a holiday album. And so I've been in the studio for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm about halfway through, so I'm trying to get it done, and it's just little old me. And
that is amazing. So you're by yourself in the studio.
Yeah. And
you've written all the parts?
Right. Well, basically, I have a great engineer, this wonderful engineer, Chip at PPI Studios. Thank you, Chip. And I'm just me at the piano. This lovely, great, big, yellow, gorgeous grand piano.
Wow.
And it's just variations on themes of carols, mostly Christmas carols. There's an original in there. There's you know, bits and bobs for everybody, whatever your beliefs, denominations, whatever you do for the holidays. It's music that will work hopefully from Thanksgiving through to January 2nd.
Now I gotta tell you, some of my favorite albums are by Jewish artists.
Well,
my favorite Christmas albums are by Jewish artists. You happen to be...
I happen to be technically a Jew.
Yes.
That is correct.
So I was very excited when I heard that you were writing a Christmas album, because Barbra Streisand, you know, Irving Berlin was Jewish.
That's right.
And wrote White Christmas.
Julie Stein. Wasn't Julie Stein a Jew?
Yes.
Yeah,
most great musicians.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know.
Let's just, it's just like great chefs are Italian, lots of us.
Yes.
And you know, operas, you know, different things.
That's right.
So I am very excited about that.
I am too. It's been a...
Did you start in London when you were in London? Or did you come here and then say...
The idea actually came last year when I usually play Thanksgiving at the Laurie Beachman, and I play for the entire day.
Right.
And I just do a run-on variation on every holiday song I know in my head.
Oh my God, that's right.
What if I recorded like this with the songs that I knew I could get the rights for, or that were in public domain? So that's what, and I was like, you know, if there was a year to do it, it would be this year.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to do something that was hopeful and artistic for me, and to feel like I had made something, as well as writing other bits and bobs that hopefully will come to fruition in time. But I wanted to put something out now, and to maybe give something to my friends and my family and people who have watched me and been part of my stream and part of my career so far, and something for them to listen to.
Now, a lot of people that are listening to the show tonight have never met you, but I can guarantee that he is brilliant. How would they find this album? So
it will be streaming on all major platforms.
Okay.
So you should be able to get it either via iTunes, Apple Music, things like that, or if you do Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, all those things. It will be on all those platforms.
Okay, and once again, and Leo, could you type this in? And do you have a website or anything?
So no, currently there's not a website, because it's all being redone. So the only way to really do any kind of research into me and these projects is by Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and it's all just William T.N. Hall. William T.N.
like
Tennessee.
Right, yeah, I love that you say that. Hall, H-A-L-L.
Yep.
So that's how you can find, and I will also remind you, so when your album does drop, as the kids say.
Yes.
You post that on my Facebook wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I will post it on the What's the Story with Maria wall as well, and remind everybody, and the links, and then you can find it. It'll be everywhere. But I am so excited.
Thanks, Maria.
Because Will is fun and sweet and all that, but he's brilliant. He's a brilliant musician and musical director. And if you see something that Will is working on, you will get your money's worth and beyond. So I'm very, very excited about that. Now, we have reached the part of our show called...
That's right.
Go ahead, keep eating. You have to do it with, ready? Go ahead, keep eating. Okay, so what did I make for my friend Will?
It's on the board.
He does enjoy pasta, as I do. And I'm on the carbs right now. I'm a little chubby, but I'll get back on the diet some other time. I can't handle it right now. So what did I make tonight? I made mushroom and cheese ravioli with, and I used my marinara as a base. So here's what people that are buying the marinara, you can do lots of stuff with this. So what I added to it, I sauteed some peas and shallots with a little sherry wine, and some garlic, of course,
Yeah.
always garlic. And then I added heavy cream. And that's what a pink sauce is anyway. So that's really like a pink sauce with peas, because I love peas.
I love peas too.
Me too, and shallots. And you're gonna freak out. It's so
Can't wait.
delicious.
I'm so excited.
Yes, me too. And then for our salad, we have a nice big salad. As I love salad, as do you.
Yep.
So we have red leaf lettuce, we have avocados, baby grape tomatoes, red onion, cilantro, and for you special, an English cucumber.
Oh, thank God.
I know. And then that was for you.
You get it.
And then I have this stuff called tahine. I don't know if you know what tahine
Oh.
is. It's Jin. It's a Mexican kind of spice. And what it is really is lime salt with a little
Oh, yummy.
kick. A little like spicy kick. Tahine, it's off the hook. It's really good if you like Bloody Marys that you put it around the rim.
Oh,
So
great.
look that up. I discovered it. My friend Ree from Mess Hall turned me onto it.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to love it. It's fantastic.
I'm excited.
And for dessert, this is also special for you
Oh, my
now, because
goodness.
you are Jewish.
Yes.
And Happy New Year.
Thank you.
So it was just, if you don't know out there, there's a lot of people out there that have no idea what we're talking about. Rosh Hashanah
Just ended, yeah.
just ended a couple days ago. And it is the official Jewish New Year. Do you remember the year it is?
2020, no.
5,000. Isn't it
No, I
5,000?
think we're in the twos, aren't we?
Oh, two. I don't know.
2071.
Well, whatever it is. It's the Jewish New Year. Happy New Year. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, yeah.
Shana Tova. Okay. So what are these? Judy actually got these from me, my honey, in Jersey, because one of her partners at work is Jewish, and they went to a kosher bakery. He's kosher, actually, not just, lots of our friends are Jewish, but he's
Legit.
kosher legit. So this is from a kosher bakery, and I have already
Thank you,
had many
Jennifer.
of them.
She knows the year.
Oh,
You're right.
thank you, Jennifer, who's Italian. I thought it was the 5,000s. Italian and a Jewish. Now, you know why I knew it was the 5,000s? Because there's a comedian, I think his name is Dan Rosen, who's Jewish, who used to do a really funny joke about how the Jews were way ahead of the China in years, and he said, so for 2,000 years Jews had to live without Chinese food. And I thought that was before, so Jews were on the planet way before the Asians were on the planet. And so he said, how did we live without Chinese food for 2,000 years? And that's how I knew. So these are, I'm going to put them up. They're all different flavors. They're kind of like strudels in a way. And this is almost like a cinnamon kind of spice thing going on. But they're so delicious. I've already eaten some of them. The rest are in the fridge. But these are for us, our Happy New Year treats. So that's what we're doing at What's the Story with Maria tonight.
A lot of food, a lot of guilt.
I-
It's true.
Right? I know. And I have my RBG shirt. The name of our show tonight is, and Will named it for me, because I was like, what are we going to name our show? RBG and GBR, which is Great Britain, he said. So I wasn't even thinking along those lines. But if you're looking for us on podcast, you can go to Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. You just go and type in What's the Story with Maria, and tonight's episode is called RBG and GBR. Once again, thank you, Cindy, for calling in and doing all that. Now, Mandar always writes down all my recipes. He
I love that.
someday is going to have my recipe book. Yes, rugula. It is very much rugula, strudely, all that delicious stuff. I mean, I had a giant box of it. I can't tell you how much I already ate. But Rena's Happy New Year to you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Absolutely. Shana Tova. I'm telling you, I love this stuff. I love knowing new things. Although, I've had, it's the truth of the matter is it wasn't until I was 12 that I didn't know anybody that wasn't either Italian or Irish.
Oh, yeah.
Because I grew up in the north end of Boston, and that's all we knew. Like, we knew the Italians, and then we moved. But I didn't have any Jewish friends or African-American friends or Indian friends until I started doing theater. And that was when I met like just a cacophony of incredible cultures, and it was just like it bombarded me with joy. Like it was just like that. All of a sudden, like you're a kid, and somebody goes like, "You have all these options in life," and I was meeting new people and going to people's houses and celebrating different things and learning about new foods and new cultures and music, and just blew my world wide open. Theater.
Yeah.
Now you have talked about this many times. In Britain, it's very different with the theater programs. They're very intense, right? As kids.
As kids.
Well, don't you have more exposure almost than we do to the arts?
I think that we certainly, when I was growing up, I was pretty fortunate, and there definitely was a lot of theatre in my schooling and music. I'm not sure if that's still the case, because I know that, you know,
a lot of things have
consistently, things have, you know, as time goes by, more and more the liberal arts kind of has its funding taken away and is stripped, much like things that's happened in this country with drama and music and fine art and dance and things like that. But I mean, I was very fortunate. We had a great drama program growing up, and we had a great music program, and really is because of that I think I went into this career and managed to get get the academic.
Now, how old were you when you started taking piano lessons?
I started pretty late. I started piano lessons at 8, I think.
So that's late?
Late.
Wow.
But, you know, I mean, that's late. That's late if you want to be like, you want to be, playing concert halls and doing this, kind of carny.
And was there someone in your neighborhood, or was it a family member? Or?
There was a music school, and
great.
And you would go upstairs. It sold pianos, and upstairs they had a kind of a classroom, I guess, where you all would put on headphones. And I did my first few years learning keyboard skills on an electric keyboard, because he could teach. It was a really good money making scheme actually. This guy had, because he would take in like 20 kids, or various ages, and they'd all have their headphones on, and he'd go around each one, and then each one he would go to, they'd take off their headphones and he'd check in on them. 10 minutes, done with that one, goes to the next one, and he'd get all that money in one session. So he
that's
could have
amazing,
lots
actually.
of classes. So that's how I learned for a few years, and then I went and had proper piano lessons after that in middle school.
Wow.
So in secondary school. So it was
because the way you play. The reason I asked you too is because the way that you play. I mean, you play a lot of Broadway. You play pop as well, which I love. But even the way, like that song that we wrote, and I remember saying to you, like, my vision for this is that because I was thinking of my mother coming over on the boat, passing the Statue of Liberty, and I said, it's almost like I want to feel like I'm on this boat. And you're very like elaborate in the way you play. It's one of the things I love about the way you play.
Thank you.
You don't just play chords, and everybody's got a different style, but what makes your style distinctive to me is you're very flowy, and there's so much happening. You feel like you're listening to two instruments or 3 instruments, and it's only one person back there. It's just amazing. So was that just a style that you loved, or was it what inspired that style?
Probably lack of good technique, really.
I beg to differ. I feel like it is great technique.
Yeah, it's probably in all seriousness, it's probably kind of a stubbornness to adhere to a standard practice. And I was always really into making things up and improvising.
Okay.
So I think then when I was taught how to technically play and theory and all that kind of stuff, I took in what I wanted to take in, and I left out what I wanted to leave out, which you're not supposed to do, right? When you learn
but things, I do that with the guitar.
Right. And that's what a lot of creative people do. What you're supposed to do is supposed to take everything in, and then when you've learned everything, then you can throw things out. But you can't throw things out until you've learned them.
Right. Sometimes I just skip them because I don't like that, or I have certain chords that I can't play because they're just, I find them too difficult. So I'm like, I'll just, and I find something else, but it happens to be pretty. So I understand.
Yeah, there are a couple of cons to it for sure.
Now, speaking of that, you do this other thing that you make videos of, where you're literally creating as you go. Have I seen something like this?
Yeah.
So what are those? Because I get lost in that when you do that. So explain. We have maybe about. Oh, I can't believe it. We have about 5 minutes left.
Oh.
But I know it
Time
flies
goes
by.
when you're having fun. Yeah, well, so that's actually really what the holiday album is a lot of. It's a lot of kind of taking the theme and then running with it and sitting down for, sometimes I go on for 10 minutes per track, which I'm going to have to scale down, obviously, because, sometimes that's fine, but sometimes not. And it's just kind of riffing on that theme and hoping for the best. But at home, that's really how you find some good stuff if you're trying to write a musical or trying to write a song or whatever. You can just kind of go off into your own little world, and 75% of the stuff that you're getting is probably not going to be anything you'll ever use, but you might get that one little hook or that one rhythmic structure that you love, or that chord progression that would never have thought of, it just came to you. And this is probably because you were just heard that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and so you have to write from that place, even if you don't know what you're writing for necessarily, apart from that emotion of what's happening in your real life.
Right.
And so and it's fun to put those things on Facebook and stream them, because it's I guess, as I know, I've got the dog snoring.
I told him, wait, I know. I said to him,
London's out.
London's out like a light, right? And I said, the funny thing about London is she's a snorer. So she would, during our show, when she's most relaxed, she will start snoring. And there she is, she's snoring.
It's my soothing voice, no doubt.
That's what it, well, you were talking about just losing yourself in that, and she started snoring.
Yeah. Well,
so, yes, this is the reality of having pets in the studio.
Asleep
there they are. They're out like lights. And I was going to show our merchandise, but I can't even do that because Rizzo is on it, and I don't want to bother her.
She's snug.
She's out. So we will remind you quickly, I do have merchandise. I have cups. They're $10. Actually, in the company that I use, which I told my beautiful British friend, it's from London. The company's from London. They're called T-Shirt Studio, and they make really great stuff. So these cups are $10. Look. I'm giving these things away because I just want people to have merchandise.
I can't wait to get my apron.
Your apron.
And then take my photos.
Now, the aprons are $25 because they're more expensive, of course.
They're beautiful.
The tote bag. The aprons are blue. Blue is the color this year.
Love it.
This is our color this year. Think blue. And then the tote bags are 10 as well. So Will is going to have an apron. And now Michael Vaccaro this week got his apron. He's in LA. I sent him one, and he took it. He was naked as a jaybird under that apron.
My goodness.
And Will said he may have to.
I felt like I had to match that.
So we may. He's going to take. It's going to happen at home. He will take a photo of him in the apron, perhaps nothing else, and we will be posting that. So that is in the wings.
Yes.
Now, I like to throw out this question. Oh, people are saying, okay, babka. Yes, thank you, Cheryl Giuliani Rubenstein. Yes, so there's babka, there's rugula, there is little strudely things. Yes, those are our desserts, and we love them. A sweet New Year to all. Thank you, Jennifer Pace, very much so. Now, I did want to say one more thing that I did hear, which is, so Ruth Bader Ginsburg was Jewish, of course, and she died at the very beginning, at sunset of Rosh Hashanah, which people are saying. Do you know this?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell people what that means.
Well, I mean, there's quite a few different kind of connotations about that. The one that I was really interested in was the fact that there is a lot of kind of rebirthing and kind of there's so much symbolism. There's actually more than just the Jewish thing. It goes back to a lot of reasons where a lot of other religions came from. But Judaism, of course, has that in it. A lot of other religions come out of Judaism. But it is a kind of sun setting. So we have that sunrise sunset aspect.
Right.
And especially as she's a woman. Being a female, is very important. I think there's some kind of deity, divine person as well that is represented by dying at the beginning of the new year. So It's very symbolic.
It's very profound.
There's actually a word that I tweeted about it on that night, which is a TH word, and I'm silly for not remembering, but I'll write it on your page. But it has the whole thing about the mythology, and it's really fascinating.
Yes, it's a very spiritual happening, that person is of a high honor.
Yeah.
A very honorable soul. That's what I was reading, and I didn't know that, but I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like right on schedule. So
Yeah.
I know we're going to run out of time very soon. Jimmy, I think we have about a minute or two. Jimmy will let us know, but I do want to remind everybody, please, please, please make sure you register to vote. I think we have I think October 9th is the deadline, and it's now September 22nd. So please don't be one of those people that isn't registered. I mean, most of us are registered, and also want to put this out to young people. A lot of people turned 18 this year. I'll never forget, like my first election. It was incredible. So don't, I turned 18 in May, and then the election was in November. It is such a huge honor. And don't just go and vote for president. Vote for all your senators, your congressmen, your local people. Learn, now you have the internet. We back then had to ask people or read papers, and you still do all that, but educate yourself. The most incredible thing you can do is educate yourself in your life, because they say ignorance is bliss, but who wants to hang out with ignorant people, really? So don't be one of those people. We have plenty of them, so we don't need any more. Be one of those people that educates yourself on candidates, on what's happening, on the issues, and go from there, because there's a lot that's going to be happening. We have our little voting places literally in between both our apartments. It's right down the street. So that's going to happen. I personally am going to go in person. I want to listen to London snoring. Excuse me, am I boring you? She's a big snorer. Judy knows. Judy's probably watching the show from where she is across the world. But so we just want to remind you to do that. And Will, once again, you have a Christmas album coming out.
Yep.
It's called
Beacon. Yeah, Beacon the album.
Beacon the album. Will TN, like Tennessee. How much time do we have, Jimmy?
30 seconds.
Thank you, my friend. I want to thank Jim Bell. He's our producer and engineer. He is in New Hampshire. He runs the show at Armed Radio, armeddigitalmedia.com, Armed Radio Global. We want to thank him. Without Jimmy, we'd be nowhere. I want to thank Joe Rocks. He's the big cheese there and got me on the show 3 years ago. Thank you. I think he's in Ohio today, so I hope you're having fun, Joe. And thanks to all our listeners. We love and appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.